Hello, this is Anthony Polagrudo, GIS analyst at the Municipal Authority of Westmoreland County. I'm here to talk to you with Kelly about the one-call ticket management systems that both Westmoreland County and Cranberry Township have started to use. A little bit about myself first. As I mentioned, I'm the GIS analyst for the Municipal Authority of Westmoreland County, or abbreviated MAWC. Also, I'm the former director of the GIS department for Westmoreland County Courthouse. I've been employed here since August 2016. I'm inside the engineering department, and I started dealing with the one calls in October 2018.
Hello, and I'm Kelly Maurer. I'm a civil engineer specializing in transportation and construction. I worked in the public sector or the private sector, I should say, for 20 years as an engineering consultant. And currently I work for Cranberry Township in-house. For the last 8 years, I've been in the engineering department, and most recently, for the last year, I am now the operations engineer at our public works facility. Our transition, the PA1 call transition to a ticket management system occurred in May of 2019, and I was the project manager for that project.
A little bit about MAWC. We have over 120,000 water customers and 25,000 wastewater customers. We have 3 water treatment plants that produce 70 million gallons a day. We have 10 wastewater treatment plants, and both of those networks have 2,400 miles of water lines and 500 miles of wastewater lines. So you can say we have a lot of things underground. To locate those, we have 6 full-time one-call locators, and we use fill-ins as needed. And we are 24-hour-a-day operations, 365 days a year.
A little about Cranberry Township. I have to say this presentation originally was Anthony's, and we were requested during the PA1 call safety days to add a little bit of a municipal perspective. We are also a client in Pennsylvania of MAWC 811. So Cranberry Township, if you're not familiar, is located in southwestern Butler County, PA, about 30 miles north of Pittsburgh. We are one of the fastest growing municipalities in the state, primarily due to our location. We are at the crossroads of Interstate 79 and the Pennsylvania Turnpike. So this is a popular place and has grown as a community outside of Pittsburgh. We have over 29,000 residents, and then we have over 20,000 people that are employed in Cranberry every day and come here to work. A little bit give us a little unique perspective rather than just the municipality doing the PA1 calls. We also do not have a separate water and sanitary sewer authority. It is part of our public works. So we're a little unique in that our PA1 call, we have 2 call centers. One is for our traffic signals. It's called CAB, and we have 41 traffic signals and 16 miles of underground fiber that we locate. We have a separate call center that is for our underground utilities. It's called CA1, and that covers sanitary, water, and storm.
Before we switched to our new ticket management system, MAWC's workflow was a little antiquated. Originally, they were received during fax, but we upgraded that system in 2015. We switched to a legacy 811 management software. They were voted the best software in 1992. There was no way to easily incorporate the base maps or aerial photography of our areas, and essentially they were just paper maps created using GIS software. We did have PDFs for our field staff that we loaded onto the laptops, but as soon as they were updated or exported and printed, they were out of date.
A little bit similar, our PA1 call system at the beginning of 2019 was all a paper system. We did use our own internal Munis system, but it was very time consuming. So our typical, how we dealt with our PA1 calls is we had an admin would actually get the one call and print out a work order. Possibly the next day, the manager would give that work order, hand it off physically to a crew member who would go out and locate that line. Once it was located, then the form had to come back to the manager, and then maybe the next day would go to the admin to close it out. So that kind of is our system. It took about 3 days, and when you had 3 days to respond, you can see that was very time consuming. This worked great for us at the beginning. The problem we were having was this year we started getting more one calls, and we were having trouble keeping up.
Also, in addition to that problem, the Pennsylvania Utility Commission began fining facility owners and excavators in the state of Pennsylvania. So you can see here we have a fine for the municipal authority for $750. And we needed to start compiling a searchable repository with documentation for all of our markings and what we did and didn't mark and why. The legacy 811 ticket management software that we were using was only installed locally on each locator's laptop. So management couldn't access any of that data without having that laptop in front of us.
And I think on Cranberry's side, the issue we had with these fines this past year was that we had Comcast come into the township, and they were a new customer, and they were going to install 16 miles of underground conduit by boring. They had 5 crews in the township, 1,000 feet a day they were installing, and we physically were having a hard time keeping up with all these locates. Add to that, some of our lines are over 50 years old, and we didn't have the required time to go in and start, researching if we didn't know exactly where these lines were. So thus, we started getting some hits. After about 3 or 4 of them, not only was the fines, a cost issue, but also just having Cranberry Township's name out there. This was something that we knew we needed to do something to try to better manage our system.
The legacy system that MAWC was using played a very limited role in a very critical operation. Essentially, it only allowed us to notify the locator that they had tickets to go mark, and allowed them to respond that they had or had not marked the area. There was no automation or routing whatsoever, and we wanted to improve that. So MAWC started attacking the problem from multiple angles. First, we used some Esri products for GIS, and specifically GPS. So here we have a photo of getting some staff trained with the GPS unit. Hands in the pockets, a universal sign of I can't help you, but they have since taken to it very, very nicely. That little device on top is the GPS unit. It gets 3-inch accuracy. We have our engineering draftsmen, our hydrant inspections, valve inspections, construction inspections, and also we're going to be going after meter vaults and curb stops soon. Also, we created a live GIS repository for that GPS unit to access. So that data is visible across the entire enterprise, and it's going to help us accurately locate all of our assets. In addition to that GPS unit, we created an online portal for our staff to use. So everyone's seeing the same map at the exact same time, no matter what device they use. It's in real time updated. The temporary projects that we need to do, for example, if Comcast had come to our area, we'd contact their map department and have their ticket mapped on our projects. We can also make department-centric maps. So if one department is really only focused on a few areas, we can make maps for them. We can hyperlink to other documents that we have stored on our servers. It has a print button, so our engineering staff can still print paper maps if they need to send them off to other agencies. And also, we can even get data from those other agencies. So they can send us their CAD, their shape files, their KMC, and their spreadsheets, and they can all be consumed right in this web map.
So similar at Cranberry Township, we also use internal GIS. We have a system, it's called Property Finder, and it was, we are able to bring that up in this management system. But currently, we are locating all of our lines internally. So our traffic division locates the traffic signal and fiber lines. We have 2 full-time staff doing those locates. And then our water and sewer crew is 8 staff. So at times we only had one person doing this. Now we can have everybody involved. As Anthony said, it's just been a great way to locate our assets and also, field verify what we have in there and send information back to our GIS person in our office.
It was the perfect time to upgrade our ticket management system as well. So we looked at several vendors. Some of those only offered mobile support. Some of those didn't do offline, and some didn't have dashboards. Then we did a Google search for 811 software, and you can see what the first result was.
I like to say that Cranberry Township, we chose this software. We were looking around also. We had consulted with PA1 Call, kind of explained to them what our situation was, and we were looking at management companies. And they suggested we look at this webinar that was on the Boss 811 site, and it was Anthony's webinar, similar to what we're presenting today. And that seemed to fit exactly what we were looking for. We needed a way to better handle the one calls, and then how to attach photos, notes, and meeting logs so that everything was in one place.
So let's go through some features that you want to look for if you're searching for a ticket management system of your own. First, it was very important to be able to have GIS layers and routing capabilities. Routing is that automatic, hey, this ticket gets assigned to this person because it fits these parameters. So we found one that can load our maps directly in from our GIS server to make sure that we always have the most up-to-date GIS info on our Boss 811 maps. We can also load KMZ and KML files, and those routing rules that I talked about, we can assign those tickets based on ticket type. We can tag tickets. We can even notify people on their laptops they have new tickets. We can assign based on dates and times for the fill-ins, and we can turn those rules on and off manually. And we can also even auto-close tickets. Let's take a look at one of the routing rules right now. So this ticket's going to go to our engineering clerk. You can see how easy it is. It's just a series of drop-down menus. You can see I have, if the type is a design, a preliminary design, a final design, or a meeting, assign that ticket to April. The map that Boss 811 offers is leaps and bounds over the paper maps that our staff was using before. The paper maps, exactly that, just paper. You can see the highlight there. A human being actually went through and highlighted every single one of those lines. And over there on the right, that's actually a screen cap right from Boss 811. So it puts the dig box right on the property, and you can even see our valves, our hydrants, our water lines. So you know we do have assets in that area. Another plus is the dashboard. Really, there's so many possibilities with this one. Each person gets to customize their own dashboard. There's also predefined out-of-the-box widgets that come with it and can do charts and reports. The most important thing, you can actually view the workload of your crews without interrupting them. Ask them how much more work they have to do for the day. Here's the dashboard right now. You can see in the top left, we have 0 emergency tickets. In the bottom right, we can have the ticket distribution by our employees. You can see that Mark has 46, Kurt has 16. So you might want to go in there and redistribute some.
This screen here is showing a sample of Cranberry Township's dashboard. This would be the dashboard I've set up for myself so I can monitor both call centers. So you can see on the left is the fiber call center, and on the right is the display for the water, sewer, and storm. And just like Anthony, you know, we can check how many people are assigned the tickets, if it's being distributed evenly. And what I like the best is seeing any ones that are due today or past due so we can make sure those are addressed.
We can also manage our tickets very well. We can search that whole big ticket repository. We can do advanced search to get really granular. We can even export CSV spreadsheets. We can even view all our tickets on one map.
Yeah, I think that's been the biggest thing for Cranberry Township is before everybody just got one ticket at a time, and they love that they can see on their iPad in the morning their whole route, and they can plan accordingly, and it makes it much more efficient.
Absolutely, and easily filtering and sorting those tickets, assigning those tickets, and responding to the tickets easily with Boss 811 is a plus. Here is the ticket screen from Boss 811. You can see that we have 183 tickets assigned to our workforce here. We can also visualize those tickets on the map. Now, 183 tickets looks a little bit cluttered, so let's just focus on one of our employees' tickets load. So this is Carl's tickets for the day. I think he has about 18 here, but you can clearly see you can develop a route using this. Maybe he wants to go get that one off the lonely area there on the right-hand side of the screen first. Maybe he wants to save it for last. Maybe an emergency will pop up that way, and he'll be able to grab it when he's there. Advanced searches comes in really handy. You can save your searches. They're only seen by you, but if you choose to share them with the organization, you can. And there's so many different columns that you can search on. It's quite staggering.
Yeah, I think as the administrator of Cranberry Townships, I use this tool extensively. If we go back and search a ticket on a certain street, or which was a date or a locator, it is a great tool that we never had before.
The ticket detail screen is also very handy. So what that does is whenever you open the ticket, it allows you to see more about that ticket. You can see the original one-call ticket format, which is very important still in the workflow. You can attach photos, you can add comments, even view that event log.
Yeah, I think what we've used it most for at Cranberry is for any emergencies, and especially for any AVRs. We have an example coming up later in the slides that will show that it was really important to have all this information all in one place.
So here's that ticket detail screen. We have the compact view across the top that shows what excavation is going to go on, who's doing it, their contact information. In the center of the screen, we have that big dig box that PA1 call provides us and Boss 811 can read, and our water lines on it. Or you can also bring up the PA1 call ticket itself if you would like to get more information about it.
Yeah, I think what Cranberry has liked is we've been able to make even that screen customizable. And for our one call center that we said was water, sanitary, and storm, we put 3 different boxes so it could be checked off so you know that everything has been located. Any attachments, as we were saying, is clearly visible. You can see if there was any notes left, any photos. It's also time, date stamped. And then even the event log shows when it was open, closed, who looked at it. So our people in our field use an iPad, and everything is available for them.
Our staff uses Android products.
Yeah, this is an example here of the photos that are attached. So you can see just by the top bar, if there were photos attached, how many. And then when you go into them, you even get a preview of what photo they look like, who took it, what time. And then we can go back and assess these. We encourage our locators for every locate now, they do put in notes and attachments. The event logs have been great to show, when the ticket was opened, who it was assigned to. Anytime we can go back now and see the system of what has happened. It's also great for the managers if you're able to reassign the tickets. Even the employees can do that. Say somebody calls in sick during a day, we can reassign that to another staff member.
It is a great way to get to the bottom of mysteries. Sometimes a locator just doesn't know how that ticket got in his inbox, and you can easily get to the bottom of it.
This is one of, I think, the best features when we were transferring over to Boss 811 is the configuration. At first, we thought we needed to call them. We were having a once-a-week call with Boss 811 on what the system, what we needed to do for us. And then we readily found that we were in charge. And right in the configuration, we can set up the call centers, how people are responding, adding layers to the map. At one point, it was decided that it would have been easier to have separate layers for our sanitary, storm, and water so that they could click on those in the ticket depending on what they were marking. All of this can be done, by us and customize it. And, we now have ownership and have taken over, and this is now, I feel like it's our system.
It absolutely does make the management here feel more powerful than we ever felt before. Being able to set all those parameters and route the tickets based on our logic is fantastic.
This is an example of how we add users to the system. We just had a new employee start last week. We can add him in, email address, if the mobile phone, very easy, customizable as we move through. We don't need to call Boss 811. We can do this on our own.
And it actually just so happens that we had an employee leave our locating staff last week. So what we did was, if you can see that last entry on the left, it says active. It's a yes/no field. We just made him inactive. So all of the tickets that he's ever been assigned are still saved under his name. But now the new tickets can go to that person that replaced him.
As we were saying, Cranberry Township does use iPads, and that's just the system that we use. But we can pull up the iPads either from a website, or there is a mobile app that we can track even from home, and we can see when emergency tickets come in, and we can reassign them. But that has worked out really well for our guys in the field. They really have had good access and been able to interact with the iPads, taking the pictures, saving them. Everything is in one place.
And what's even neat is you can even sketch on the picture too that you take with the mobile app. Okay, to put it all together for an emergency ticket workflow, we'll go through that now. So all of our tickets are assigned to one of 6 locators based upon their one call area code. When the emergency ticket arrives outside of the hours, outside of their locator hours, it's tagged after hours and then reassigned to the emergency dispatch group. The emergency dispatch group manually reassigns after hours foreman based upon availability. The ticket's responded by after hours foreman as practicable, and they attach the photos of the markings. So here are some photos. I think these are actually maybe even yours, Kelly? I can't
mine
tell.
are on the next sheet. Mine are on the next
Excellent.
slide. Okay, so here was an example that Cranberry Township did, and I don't know if it's just coincidence, but that our number of hits have decreased since we started using the management system. I think we're better marking, better tracking. We have a little more time to spend. But this is a case where we did have an emergency ticket. We had this is part of when Comcast was coming in. On July 29th, we did mark this line. It's our fiber line. Later, the next month, the line was hit. When we went out in the field the next day, we really did work with Comcast and their line locator. We're helping repair the line. They helped us excavate. Everything worked well. But the one thing that was not there was the actual markings. So there was some question about whether this was marked properly, was not marked. We were able to pull up in MAWC 811 the actual markings and the photos we had to document, because the markings were gone at that point. They had already been excavated. So we were able to find the pins that were located. You can see in the one picture, we found those markings. We were able to do a string, and then we were able to measure off that to show that we were 10 inches off our line. So that showed that our line was marked accurately. So for us, that really was our moment where we felt like this system really paid off. And this is what we had hoped it would do, is streamline this process and just make it better for everyone.
Wow. Problem solved. So far, MAWC has closed over 23,000 tickets, and every single one of them is searchable by our management instantly. We've incorporated over 100,000 tickets that have been imported from that legacy system that we went away from, with the attachments and the codes that they used to close them. Those event logs have eliminated bottlenecks and allowed for retraining of staff whenever they keep reassigning whenever they shouldn't. The management can now see those attachments while the staff's in field. So if they have a question, they can take a picture of it. We can open up that ticket and see that picture instantaneously. We started using MAWC to track our own excavations and comparing it to their daily work assignments. The dig boxes now flow into our GIS server. So we're even doing other really neat things with those boxes as well. And frankly, it's really simplified a very complicated workflow before. And the fill-in and after-hour flows have drastically improved. And MAWC 811 has set the bar that all other software is compared to now.
Yeah, for Cranberry Township, this was a pretty recent transition for us. We transitioned the fiber and signal operation to MAWC 811 on July 1st of 2019, and then we transferred the water, sewer, and storm on August 1st. So at this point, we're about 3 months out from that. You can see the number of tickets we've closed. I think with both of them, we're averaging about 500 tickets a month. I wanted to kind of go over the transition. I want to say we did a training with our employees about 2 weeks ahead of time. And then really after about a week of using this system, they were off and running. So 3 months post-installation here, we're pretty much running on our own and have very little issues. Everything is working well, and on a day-to-day basis, I think everybody's a little happier now that we've gone through this transition.
Excellent. Thank you, everyone. Over here on the left is a list of the enhancements that Boss 811 has made at our requests. There's my contact information. Thank you very much.
And I would just add, if there's any questions, feel free. You can reach out to Anthony or I as other people possibly make this transition to Boss 811. It's really been seamless for us and has made our life a lot easier.